Okay.
Tea
All
without
right.
any sugar.
That's right. So,
Mm.
last time on the Curse of Strahd, the Beckoning, we had completely done the exact opposite of what I thought you guys were going to do based on your usual behavior, which was instead of digging deeply into the question marks beneath the Church of the Morning Lord to uncover a potential hazard, you guys decided to wait and be diplomatic and peaceful by talking to Father Donovich, who revealed all after you guys caught on that he was clearly at the end of his rope, which you guys did a really great job in bringing him back from the edge. He seems to have hope for the first time in his life. You guys did a great job role playing that. And yeah, you also went through supporting Ireena Kolyanavich and her brother Ismark Kolyanavich, whose father has just recently passed away. You helped to just basically now finish burying him with Father Donovich's help overseeing that. You caught the most likely figure in the mists just outside paying his respects, it seemed, the one and the only Strahd von Zarovich. And yeah, Ismark has essentially begged you all to take his sister Ireena away from this place, not just for her safety, but convinced that the people, now that they know Strahd is basically after her or attacking them, have shunned their family, and he wants to take on his father's responsibility as Burgomaster of the village and start piecing things back together. And yeah, Ireena is upset
Not
about it,
happy.
but seems to be heading back to her home to get prepared, resigned to follow you. And you guys have a nice reward coming to you for doing so, which, yeah, Ismark is essentially... Yeah, you guys are essentially on the street or just outside of the cemetery there. Yeah, heading back to the Burgomaster's mansion to collect your reward, or at least your payment for protecting Ireena and any supplies that he has offered. But you guys are welcome to do whatever you want. You're still in town, and yeah, I think that's
I
where
believe
we
that I
left off.
followed her.
Yes, I think you did as well.
Mhm.
Yeah, so
Mhm.
so.
Mm.
And what I do actually have, because it is a rather dismal day, the rains, of course, have picked up once more, and it is soaking you guys to the bone as you guys are walking. I'll start off with I'll start off with Jax of Candlekeep, or Shanna. Would you like to say anything, or are you just kind of following along? What would you like to do?
I'll just kind of quietly follow her. I don't want to impose anything upon her, you know.
Yeah, she seems aware of your presence, obviously. She tries to stay in front of you. She's walking rather fast. She's got a cloak, a black cloak over her head, and she seems to be crying and clearly upset, but nevertheless not trying not to show anybody it. You still get the sense that the town is watching from windows. It's pouring out. It's it's just mud and grime and mist and kind of like worse than Victoria, England kind of village type of thing. And yeah, but yeah, you guys end up getting to the mansion there, and she leaves the door kind of cracked for you and everything like that. And the mansion itself is quite nice, but it just seems like it's had a rough time as of late.
So did we go
Meanwhile,
inside?
yeah, you guys, yeah, she'll kind of invite you in and everything like that, and
Okay.
She kind of,
Okay.
clambers the stairs and
Okay.
seems to be rummaging around upstairs, kind of gathering
Okay.
stuff. So.
All right. Well, I'm just gonna say to her, I mean, I won't pretend that consoling others is anything that I am good at by any means, but would you like help packing?
Thank you for your help. Yes, I suppose that would be okay.
So yeah, she'll kind of gesture to you. It looks like she's actually, obviously, it looks like whether herself or Ismark have already kind of prepared or, resigned themselves to this, that a lot of her stuff is already packed. She's got an adventuring pack and everything like that. She's got kind of one of those little clothes blinds along her larger bed in her bedroom, and she goes behind that to get changed, and she has an adventuring outfit sort of laid out on her bed. It's a lot of red and white cloths, so she's still, she's a noble woman. So whether or not she has like true adventuring clothing that's going to keep her downplayed and everything like that, it seems like she's chosen to pick something that is maybe more flashy than a usual adventurer, I guess. Okay. And what you also notice is an old set of, like, it's ancient, even a breastplate on sort of an armor stand that she that's quite ornate and quite nice looking, but it clearly is of decent make, even if it's like possibly like 50 years old from what you can tell. So.
Just for funsies and just to be sure, because I know. Can I also roll for perception?
Absolutely, yeah.
Good idea.
Oh, starting
It'd be
strong with this.
second nature at this point.
I prefer you say something than me just kind of keep on. By the way.
Yeah.
It's kind of an interesting place.
I know we talked about that a little bit. So starting off strong with a 20, not a nat 20, but a 20. So.
Oh, good. Let me just see what I can't come up with here for a second. I did forget one little thing that I do need to open here. Also, is my rain too loud for you guys, or is that like decently
really
background?
Nice. It's really nice.
Yeah, I could pretty much fall asleep to it. Like, this is quite fair.
Yeah.
I like it.
I have a song queued up for dramatic effect, but I don't know if I'm allowed to play it. Probably won't be allowed to play it on actually the recording and everything. So I've decided not to do that for now. But it is a lovely song, and it's very appropriate, I think, for. I did paste it in the Discord channel there. If you guys did want to play it at some point,
yeah, I did listen to that one.
Yeah, that's the one I had in mind. But with the rain in the background, it's just for some reason, I don't know. I got this whole scene in my head for some reason.
So, Ireena's house is here?
Yeah, it's all the way in the south there, yeah. So I can actually even...
Yeah, I actually moved all of us to it. It's just...
Thank you.
We can't see it because it's still uncovered.
You guys also probably have noticed, if not, that your icons are a little bit more colorful than prior. In fact, I'll even show.
Yep,
I noticed that right off the bat.
I did notice.
So that's what the. I just felt like they need a little bit more oomph. They're too. I get lost in the way that it's so gloomy in the background with the map and everything that I get the icons kind of lost here and there. So yeah, I just felt like it needed a freshening up. What I'll do is. In fact, I'm just going to go ahead and do this because I can.
Wow, and a big place. Or
yeah.
that's your family's place.
So this is, yeah, it's obviously a quite a large estate. This you don't need to see. But I will... Sorry, I brought up the wrong... Whilst I'm bringing this up, what would you guys like to do? Ismark is still kind of accompanying you guys, kind of walking back from the Church of the Morning Lord. Do you guys want to say or do anything whilst you're in the middle of town there? Or are you just kind of joining Ireena?
Oh. You have 2 Ireenas.
I do.
Yeah, you do.
I assume the one without the portrait is the one that you get rid of.
Oh, there's Ismark. I was looking for Ismark earlier. Maybe I oh, I know what I did. I accidentally I duplicated the Ismark one. Okay, there we go. That's good. Yeah, so yeah. So essentially, yes, that's pretty much what you would see. Okay, so this is what Shanna would see. Adorned with religious icons hanging on the walls, the grand foyer boasts a wide staircase with sculpted railing. A long carpeted L-shaped hall stretches across the mansion, with several doors leading away from it, including one far end. Palisades have been erected across the front door, with weapons resting upon them. Shanna, you in particular would see the furnishings and draperings in this parlor create a cozy and inviting atmosphere, but the numerous religious icons on the walls and the boarded-up windows suggest a sense of unease that continues. You don't really see anything else of note. It looks like, obviously, the bed looks like it hasn't been slept in very well. Yeah, and so you can kind of pick up, the unease and the anxiousness that's kind of palpable in the atmosphere. Looks like it's probably been lasting for weeks. Usually you would imagine there to be servants or something like that would have been kind of tending a home of this size. But thus far, what you can tell is these people have been abandoned, and it seems that's the most palpable feeling that you can kind of feel from her, even. Although that's more of an insight. It's, the atmosphere matches her personality at the moment, or her emotions. So, but yeah. But yes. After a while, Ireena will come out. She has, moves to kind of wrestle the breastplate on, and she kind of asks you for help in terms of tying it up. Usually she'll kind of mention that her brother is usually the one who helps her out with that, but it seems to fit her pretty well.
I will obviously gladly help her with that.
I think I'll probably ask Ismark about the attacks on this mansion. Similarly, the church as well. It's like I don't know if this barricade's actually there or not, but I'll ask him about that.
Yeah. So that's sort of the entrance to the home, and it's essentially like what you imagine it to be is there's like a loaded heavy crossbow that's sort of put there. There's a pole arm or two. There's a sword. And it just looks like this is where they were staging their frontal defense from the assaults on the building. And he kind of explains that he wasn't too sure exactly what was attacking them. Usually, Strahd seems to send his animal minions the most. So wolves and bats are kind of the ones that he's noticed the most often. But he says, I'm convinced that the Dark Lord himself has not assaulted us personally. He is too prideful for something like this. But my suspicion is that there may have been even some other creature, whether it was one like his own, a vampire spawn, or something else. For it was more than just bats and wolves that seemed to attack us. We saw fire was lit a few times. So whether this was from some monster or some magics, I cannot tell. But once those doors were shut, we refused to open them again. So, during the night, of course.
I wish you. I hope that you can stay safe here yourself.
Thank you, my friend. Yes, I do not see why Strahd, Dark Lord or not, he is our Lord. He does at least act like one for the most part. He is one to keep up appearances, and for the most part, so far as I have been able to tell in my lifetime, though the odd person goes missing or what have you, that are always attributed to him. My understanding and is that he left peasants alone. It was his charge to dominate the area, but not to, and of course to dominate in such a way that is fearful. But I never got the sense that he would sully himself with us. He employs many of the people in town, or at least some of them, whether they go to make repairs on his castle or give him foodstuffs and everything like that, even just for entertainment. I just don't see him sticking around or being here without, for whatever reason, Ireena, he seems to have taken a liking to her, which is more than distressful, and ultimately the reason why my father passed away was her defending herself from him.
Well, I'd say that if the rest of this place is as this town is, I'm not impressed by his lordship's work, and I personally feel that there should be someone that can take care of this land, that can do better than Strahd. Better for the people and the land.
He kind of has like a wry smile on his face, and he kind of says, rarely have there been those who have been content here, but we understand this place for what it is. We have just lived our lives like this, and so there has never been anything else. It sounds as though you are hopeful, and perhaps this is not a bad trait for some, but for us, this can be deadly. It is foolish to believe or to hope for something other than what it is. Perhaps it is sad to you, but he kind of trails off and he happens to be looking over. I'll show you. He kind of is saying so. Oops. When he, whilst he's kind of looking back in here, and he notices that his father's coffin is missing, and that's kind of what's kind of got him, forlorn, I guess. So. Zoltan starts to get a little uncomfortable and says that he basically says, if we're going to be gone soon, we'd best gather all of our things from the Blood on the Vine tavern and make sure that that's all squared away. He asks Ismark whether or not he has supplies here, or if he should, meet up with Bildrath or something like that. And Ismark says, if you guys need to, going to Bildrath, and telling him that he'll foot the bill, you guys can basically go and get pretty much anything there within reason for your trek, essentially. So, which Zoltan will probably go to the Blood of the Vine tavern.
I need to go get my sword.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't take long before Jax and Ireena come out. She makes quite the striking figure. As I said, she's of noble taste, and so she comes out looking quite fetching. I guess it doesn't help that my face is in the way there. Give me a second. Let's do this for a second.
That's the breastplate.
Yeah, so she's got kind of an ornate breastplate and kind of almost embroidered white and red cloths. And she goes to the front entrance and grabs a particularly ornate but well-worn longsword, and she slides it into a hip sheath.
Yeah, she's
And that's
ready to
where
fight.
Yeah, so
She's a level 2 fighter. I saw her in the characters.
she's I couldn't make an NPC sheet with a class, like a custom class, so she doesn't have exactly the same stats as a level 2 fighter. So there's some things that are on there that I'm not going to use, but yeah, essentially she looks like she actually knows how to handle the sword in any case. Ismark basically comes over and, even though she's clearly kind of pissed off about the situation and very sad, he can't help but smile and give her a hug, but doesn't really say anything.
All right. Well, we better be on our way.
Things taken care of here at Bildrath and gather
Sounds
our
good.
things.
All right. Sounds like a plan. Do you guys want to do anything else other than gather supplies or anything from Bildrath? I'll let you guys, I'll just assume, basically anything on that. Actually, do I have that sent to you, think?
I would actually like to tell Burgomaster Ismark about the lady with the missing child, and essentially have him, if he knows anything.
Oh, you speak of Mad Mary. Yes, unfortunately, her daughter has been missing for many months. She was a particularly protective parent, always fearful, and never let her leave the house. She was very pretty, but went missing, months and months ago. She still considers her like a 9 or 10-year-old, but I believe the lass is more like 15 or 16. So we made a search, but we just never did find her. I don't think she is in town, from what I understand. Whether she ran away from home or was taken off by one creature or the other in the night, I have very little hope for her.
Thank you so much for the information. I'll remain hopeful.
If it is if it is a strength of yours, then I encourage it. But yes.
Many thanks, friend.
Oh, why am I it's a little slow today?
And have we done a rest at all, or long rest?
Yeah, so this is in the morning after.
Yeah, we
so
just rested.
Yeah, so you had rested that night, but
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, so
it's-
go ahead and if you haven't done so already, Ki, I see you're missing some hit points.
Yeah, so yeah, you can full hit points and everything like that. You guys get all your skills and everything back and that sort of thing. So
And how do you reset that?
You can just
Rest
heal, I think, if you want to do one at a time.
If you hit where is it? There's a
Long
button.
rest.
Up at
Long
the
rest
top.
at the top.
Yeah.
It says share, short rest, long rest. If you hit long rest, and then make sure that rest maximum HP changes during rest is checked. Hit take long rest and then hit confirm.
Okay. See, I might need to sign in because I think I signed out on accident.
Oh, no trouble. All good. Just checking something right quick.
I'm just checking to see what we might need from build drafts.
Yeah,
So you might tell us what you have.
Let me have. Yeah, I think I have a handout for you guys. Yeah, here we go.
Ooh, a handout. I like that.
View original. Fine, don't view original. Download. There you go. In the chat there. That's everything he has. Don't worry too much about the price. Obviously, it's getting picked up. At which point, also, Ismark will kind of bring out a small chest and kind of count the appropriate amount of coins for you guys. He kind of, we'll kind of divvy it up into small sacks because obviously it's 150 gold pieces is still pretty heavy kind of thing. So make sure that there's at least divvied up amongst you kind of thing. And yeah, give it to you guys.
John Grimbel might like that grapple hook.
Yeah, I saw that.
I
think.
We probably need a map. A map is probably a good idea.
I got my crowbar.
That is actually a very good idea. In fact, I already planned for it. Actually, it's Ireena who kind of removes her pack that's on her shoulder and produces a map.
Excellent.
Of the area, and I will share that with you guys as well. Or actually, what I can
add
do,
that healer's kit.
Yep.
Okay, now I can see. Okay, yeah, I need to sign in. Okay.
Yep. The map is a great idea. The healer's kit for you is a great idea as well.
Grappling hook for
Should
Grimbal.
we add a hunting trap in case we need to get some food or anything along the way? One of the maybe Grimbald or Ki. I don't know who would be
Zoltan. Zoltan has really.
Zoltan is is the trapper hunter.
Yep,
I was going to say I'm not sure who would be best for that, but
I could get you a rabbit. That's probably better,
actually Kiani. Kiani has the best survival.
Yeah, I can take that.
Somebody should probably have one of those.
Yep. So Kiani or Adam, do you know how to add inventory to your character?
Yes. So I go to other, or no, I go to inventory and then manage inventory.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So
And
manage, and then
then-
you just type in the top there, filter.
Yeah.
Maybe a
Hunter,
crowbar.
hunting trap.
Just
I have
in
a crowbar.
case.
I have a crowbar as well.
You have a
We have-
crowbar? Okay.
So hunting trap.
Yep.
Okay. How many?
I don't know how
okay.
many. So how many hunting trap can we
He
take?
probably has like 3 or 4 available.
Okay.
It's up to you, of course, how many you want to take.
Okay.
What is arcane focus? Is that something that I should have?
You already technically have one.
Oh, I already have one. Okay.
Ooh, they're
Yeah,
25
I already have a
pounds.
holy
Um,
symbol
Wow.
as well.
Yeah,
You know,
it's-
I'm gonna
What-
take a second holy symbol.
Can I ask a dumb question?
yeah,
There are no dumb questions.
What is a manacle?
it's handcuffs.
Handcuffs. I actually do have a pair on
Okay.
myself already. If
They're
you
old
want one,
school
to go
I'm
for
gonna
it.
say I kind of want handcuffs. Don't ask questions.
They're 6
Nope.
pounds. Keep an eye on your weight too. Weight carried.
Yeah. Wanna
Okay.
take these off my. Yeah. That's.
Ismark kind of explains to you that as much as it would be easier to give you guys horses and a chariot or something, it just feels like that might draw more attention, not just from Strahd necessarily, but from
Fair.
others along the road. And so while he's not opposed to giving you guys horses, and it will be a little bit faster to go through the woods that way, his advice is to not take them, but it's up to you.
Fair. Maybe a couple more rations. We probably need a couple more rations. Yeah.
Wouldn't
Have
be
the hunting.
bad. I got 5 on me right now.
I do not. I've only got 1, and I've got the pies that I will not be eating any more of.
Well, they were giving you good sleep. They weren't necessarily bad. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know that I want to go sleepwalking again while we're out adventuring.
Well, I can always trade and give you the rations for the pies, and then I'll sleepwalk. It'll be easier to find me than it is you.
We'll save those pies for emergency. How's that? How's that?
Sounds good. I can still use some
Whatever you
rations though.
All right.
Speaking
do we
of
need
which,
soap?
Nah, I'm
I
fine.
have soap.
I'm a hobbit.
Okay.
But yeah, get soap for yourself.
What-
So this is
Other than
the
bathing,
the map
What-
that I don't know if you guys can see that well enough, but you guys are down in the center, bottom right there, and they kind of describe, kind of bring it out and lay it out on the table, and explain that you guys have already, from what he's heard, gone to the River Ivlis. There's the bridge down there, which you guys, kind of walk down river. Beyond that is the River Ivlis crossroads as you wind towards the west. There's 2 routes you can consider, he says. The first is the safer path. It is much longer, but the road, as worn down as it is, it is better to travel on it than in the woods. The other path is to the north when you get to the crossroads. It goes to the Tesser Pool, which is sort of a small lake, if you will. But my understanding is that this is where the Vistani often camp. I understand that one of your number has spoken about Madame Eva. This might be where she is located. If you can find them, Strahd has an old, from what I understand, pact with the Vistani people. and refuses to bring them any harm. I don't know the whole story, but these people, they are able to come and go in this land as they please. I do know that is a potentially safe place. Although I've never always trusted the Vistani. They can be frivolous, I suppose. Still, it is one of the options if you decide that is where you go.
I'll ask Sultan what he thinks.
Can I sell some of the stuff that's in my bag that I don't need?
Sure. Yep.
Like the bit and bridle.
Ooh.
Yeah, for sure.
Stuff.
Yep, sounds good.
I probably don't need that. 'Cause I'll eventually be able to summon my own mount, but when I summon my mount, do I need a bit and bridle?
It's a great question.
Be able to
I have no idea. My suspicion would be that a summon mount comes with the gear that is necessary to ride it. Okay. I'll have to look into it, but yeah, I don't see why not. If it's magical, then everything could be magical on it, right? So,
I mean, that would make sense, yeah.
Yeah.
I lost my horse when I was running, so I don't think I need that anymore, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, it sounds fine.
Just gonna double check.
So yeah, Zoltan will end up looking at the map, and judging by the distances and everything, he suspects that it'll take about like the better part of 8 hours to get to the actual crossroads. It took you guys about 3 to 5 hours, somewhere in between there, to get to the bridge and go down the river. So he's kind of guesstimating from that. And then it would probably take another good day's travel to get to the second bridge, and then maybe a second day to get to the west gate. If you guys cut north, he suspects with your guys' crew, that would shave at least a day off of travel. Probably be another 5 hours or so. Yeah.
Well, I know there, and Madame Eva keeps on coming up, so it would be nice to find out if she is actually there.
Zoltan is probably the one who, moves towards that suggestion himself. He's like, I have questions that need answers, particularly precisely who Strahd is and who Madame Eva is to me. I have this letter, of course, but we all have questions for her, particularly with these, and he'll produce his tarot card that he happens to have, and what exactly this is meant to mean, why we are all here. It just seems like a good idea.
Yeah, let's say we can take the toughest path on the route, and we've got an extra fighter.
Right. Keep each other safe.
That's true. All right. Well, we don't need to belabor it too much. You guys are welcome to add pretty much, within reason. Of course, can't take everything in the store, but yeah, you can add what you need to your inventory there. I would say you could also add, what is it? I don't know what 150 divided by 5 is, but, or 4, 5. Yeah. But you can add that many gold pieces to your inventory as well. And
say that again.
150 divided by 4, 5.
5 technically, yeah.
So 30 each.
That's good.
30. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you want to add that to Zoltan's page there too, Lunar.
I don't think we can. I don't think we can change anything on.
I gotcha. It's 30, you said?
30, yes.
They're each. Okay, there we go. Perfect. I figured it out. I got you all up here too. Just don't like switching so many screens all the time. I've got like too many screens, too many things going on sometimes.
Uh-huh.
It's good. It's
Know
good.
it.
All right. I guess I probably could have done that before I actually set up the map for you guys a different way, but that's okay. Anyway, I also shared the map with you guys in Discord there, so I don't know if you noticed in the chat
I
there.
saw the map as. Let's see, what else do we need? What is a mess kit?
It's like your utensils for, and like a small cup
Eating.
to drink out of. Yeah, it's basically your
Like
your
a,
essential. Yeah,
okay.
your essentials for your cooking and camping supplies. Well, mostly camping, like basics. All right.
I grabbed the rations and a grappling hook.
Okay. Sounds good.
Oh, there's the amount to add.
Well, assuming you guys are relatively ready to go, Ismark is anxious to kind of get you going, but as you guys prepare to leave, yeah, it seems like he doesn't want to let her go at the same time, embraces her, tears are shed, and he basically looks at you all and just basically says, protect her with your lives if must.
Will do, sir, will do.
We will. We'll keep her safe. You have the word of Helm.
All right. Well, as your group, now including the resigned but stoic Ireena Kolyanavich, continues on your journey southward along the Old Svalich Road during the late afternoon, a hauntingly picturesque scene unfolds before you. Though the sky is overcast and gray in the last time you traveled this way, it is now cold and horrible as the rain persists, soaking you down to your bitter bones. As you travel, you pass the isolated farmsteads of Barovia, each appearing more flooded or forlorn than the last. These homesteads, scattered like forgotten relics, have dilapidated fences and overgrown fields, as if nature itself has reclaimed them. Ireena is quiet and contemplative, her piercing green-gray eyes filled with sadness, her auburn hair darkly drenched by the steady pour of rain. She says little for these first many hours, taking the time to gaze around for what may be for the last time she will see her home. Eventually, you arrive once more at the Ivlis River crossing. The murky waters have risen a full foot, flowing a sluggish brown beneath the arched stone bridge as you cross. The rains have begun to let up, but it does little to raise your spirits. The atmosphere becomes heavy with foreboding, as if the river itself was holding back the secrets to the forested path you soon find yourselves on. The old Svalich Road itself is worn and weathered, a winding path through the dark forest, now thickening with mist amidst ominous hills. The road is framed by ancient trees sporting gnarled branches that seem to reach out as you pass by. The fog and mist cling to the ground, obscuring the path ahead and shrouding the land in an eerie silence as the rain now stops. All right, so you guys are basically past the bridge and you're first entering the forest. Do you guys want to say or do anything whilst you're doing that? How is your actually I'll even do this. We will.
Perception.
We'll switch maps. as well.
That's a really cool detailed map of Barovia.
Oh, you haven't. Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
So are we at River Ivalis Crossroads now, or?
You're basically just past it, so you're on the path. So you can assume that this map will basically, it's essentially the same. As soon as you get to one end, it'll kind of repeat. I just didn't want to cut and paste everything, but yeah, I'll show you. Go ahead and organize your guys' cells. I kind of just laid it out there, randomly. But if you guys want to change what your positions along your marching order and everything like that is, but I've actually managed to get this to adjust every time you move your characters. The fog of war will adjust to wherever you're looking within the frame rate.
Cool.
Oh, really?
Nice.
Oh, no shit! With the distance and everything, too. How the hell
That's
did you
really
do that?
cool.
That's so
yeah.
handy.
So it now has kind of dynamic fog, but yeah, so each tree kind of blocks light from behind it, and so
That's lovely.
what you can tell is these areas here are like sort of raised, hills that kind of have a path up, sort of thing, but you can't quite see past them if you kind of walk this way. So
Okay.
you can imagine it's like a hill, like
Play
a
with it
hilly
really
kind
quick.
of yeah, do that.
This is really cool.
Yeah, great job, Zal.
Yeah, so you probably have to, in order to see the new updated line of sight, you'll have to drop your character.
To like drop it.
Yeah. So yeah, you can't just move it around, unfortunately, but still, yeah. So I'll let
so
you guys
cool.
play for it. Yeah, I know, right? I spend so much. You have no idea how much time I spent doing this for the other maps.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know how you did it, but it works very well.
That's very cool. That's
yeah.
very cool.
For those who are interested at home, who might be wondering what I'm doing, I'm using a program called owlbear.rodeo. It's actually on a browser. And I found a few extensions that allow you to map shadow patterns and do a dynamic fog of war, which is what I just started using. So, but I think I've pretty much mastered how to do it now. So,
Well done.
yeah. So.
Good job.
It's good. It's good.
I'm just gonna kind of stay in line with Ireena, just because
That's what I thought.
my whole thing here is, I kind of want to build rapport with her, So.
Sounds good.
I'm just gonna be at the back, like always, just trailing along.
Sounds
And
good.
I will be up front.
Zoltan will probably take the rear guard with Grimbold.
Yeah.
Be in front.
Cool. Sounds good.
I'm just gonna have myself just a little bit more off. Kind of like.
That works. Okay. So, as you continue along the winding Old Svalets road, your senses suddenly sharpen, and a feeling of being washes over you.
Mm-hmm.
You glance to the left and to the right, peering into the dense forest that flanks the road. At first, the woods appear tranquil, with shadows dancing between the trees as the overcast sky filters dim light through the canopy. Everybody who wanted to take a perception roll or a perception check, go ahead and give me one now. I also need one more thing from you guys, but give me 2 seconds to look this up.
Okay. I got an 18.
Okay.
20, not natural.
13.
How much was that, Shanna? Sorry?
13.
Okay.
I had an 18. I don't know if you heard that.
All right. Now, I would like everybody
Oh, no.
to give me a Constitution roll as well, please.
Okay, Constitution.
$21.
10.
23.
6. Bye,
I
guys.
thought I had the bad roll. Okay. Feel better.
A 10 still better than 9.
A
This
wolf's
is
gonna
true.
come get me. Bye, guys. Enjoy your lives.
All right. Sorry, Shanna, what was your roll?
10.
Okay. So Jax and Grimbold, both of you find yourselves more on edge than usual, and it's not necessarily for the reason that you think. You find yourselves becoming quite hungry, and without really even thinking about it, both of you go to reach for some pie because that's just what you had last. You are almost unaware as you're about to take a bite, but you're able to stop yourselves. You're not forced to or anything like that. What you also notice is that Zoltan is also feeling a little peckish. What would you guys like to do?
Is Zoltan also reaching for a pie?
It looks like he was going to, yes, but he's kind of come to himself and is looking suspicious and wary.
Okay. Guys, I'm hungry. What's going on? Do we want to stop and have a snack, or?
Yeah, I think we should have a snack.
Should we get rid of these pies? I feel like I almost ate it, and I don't think we should be eating these.
I haven't touched a single one of those pies. I would say yes. We have plenty of rations now.
Yes.
Zoltan, yeah, he just feels like something's off about it, and even though he looks at you guys, he doesn't have a pie, but he looked at one of your guys' pies, and he decides, no, maybe it's not a great idea after all.
Mm.
I'm gonna throw these into the bush over here.
All right.
Sure.
Ireena doesn't really think too much of it, and she'll kind of eat and kind of eat one of her rations, or part of a ration or whatever. And
Jax, do you need some rations?
So how many days have we been traveling so far? Sorry.
It's just been so it's probably been about 6 hours into your journey at this point.
I've got some, but I'm gonna ask Ireena while we're stopped and we're nomming really quickly. Does she know anything about Pie Lady?
You mean Granny? Yes, I suppose. She's in town many days and makes quite the profit for herself. I don't know all the particulars, but they have said that some of her baking is addictive. Many people have very often sold much of their goods just to get another slice.
I mean, her pies are really good, Ireena, but not only did I sleep incredibly well after eating it, I did some really weird sleepwalking. Have you ever heard of anything like that happening?
She looks at you a little oddly and, thinks on it for a moment, but eventually says,
No, I haven't heard of anybody walking in their sleep. That is most unusual, I must admit.
Okay.
Can you cook the meat, the pork medallion? He's gonna go biking. While we go biking. Can you cook the pork medallion?
Yes.
So it's about maybe 30, 40 minutes later when Jax and Grimbold and Zoltan, not all at once, but progressively in their own ways, start become pretty ill. They start to get more and more sick. I'd say Shanna Let's see here. Yeah,
I
no, it's
have had the
Shanna.
most pie.
Shanna in particular seems to be the one who upchucks some of her rations.
Oh no.
You all are basically kind of sweating, very uncomfortable. And at one point, you see Zoltan looking over his shoulder, and he just keeps looking back and stopping for a bit, kind of lagging behind, kind of holding his stomach and kind of scratching his head. But he doesn't say anything.
Mm.
So everyone is experiencing
It's
this,
like
even the
we're
people who haven't eaten.
detoxing.
No, just Jax, Grimbold, and Zoltan at this
Oh,
point.
okay.
It's like we're detoxing.
I'm gonna try and use lesser restoration on Jax, just because she's like the worst off.
Okay.
I can use it once per long rest, but I can remove one condition of blinded, deafened, paralyzed, or poisoned. So it says you touch a creature and can end either one disease or one condition. So it can be disease, poison. So
Okay. Yep. Yeah. So Lunaris comes over and go ahead and describe what this would look like in your mind.
So I pretty much place one hand on her forehead and one hand on her stomach, and just sort of close my eyes and feel the celestial power within me, and I force that through my hands.
Okay. Yeah, Jax, you feel the light touch of Lunaris Lenente, and a surge of power washes through you. You feel that your sweating lessens significantly, and your stomach no longer seems to be hurting by any means. You feel like you oddly have a desire to have pie still, but your immediate condition definitely is better, and you don't seem to be suffering from any ill effects. That being said, Grimbold, please roll your perception one more time.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I didn't even know if that was going to work.
Nat 20.
Okay. What was your previous roll?
It was a 20, but not nat.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, so you're realizing that you're not up to standard, and nor does it look like Zoltan is even remotely on point in terms of what he's trying to keep an eye out. He keeps looking behind him and kind of missing, obvious signs of things. He stumbles a little bit over, a root in the road kind of thing. And even yourself, you recognize that something just isn't right. Even though you're pushing through it better than he is. Yeah, it's clear that you guys currently have a condition that is making you have disadvantage on, at least so far, perception rolls.
I see.
Mm-hmm.
Tricky.
So, tricksy indeed.
I wish, like Jax, are you feeling better after what I did?
I am feeling better. I'm still wanting pie though. It feels like, I don't know, like there's some kind of drug that was in that. I don't know.
That's what it seems like to me as well. I would, if we ever speak with Granny again, we'll have to confront her about it. But I wish I could help Grimbold and Zoltan, but I can only do that every time I sleep. I have to.
I'm fine.
I'm perfectly. Well, as you guys are continuing, in any case, Eventually, those of you who have rolled high enough, you realize your heightened awareness is actually revealing subtle signs of movement and hidden forms around you. In the shadowy undergrowth on either side and above the road, you catch pairs of glinting eyes. They are cold and predatory. Half a dozen pairs, maybe more, seem to watch your group into the hills above. You are being stalked.
Nice.
The gloom and the dim light that is slowly fading more and more as you travel along the day make their bodies nearly impossible to see, as they are perfectly still one moment and then gone the next. Blending in with the dark foliage, their eyes locked onto your group with an intense hunger that sends shivers down your spine. You're not completely certain, but these are wolves, and they aren't acting like natural predators. They're hunting with a calculated, almost intelligent patience. You also notice something even more concerning. They appear to be watching, in fact, only one of your members in earnest. Your charge, Ireena. Let me...
Hmm.
So don't move from that spot for now. What are you guys going to do, if anything?
Well,
So
I'm
these
already
are
next. I'm already next to Ireena, so I'm,
Okay.
kind of blocking her on one side.
We
can I
can
do
see
an
the wolves.
You can't...
We can't tell how many.
You think that there's at least half a dozen, if not more. You know that they are somewhere. They kind of keep on fading in and out from where they are, but they are definitely like moving actively from this ridge line. Oops, sorry. This ridge line up here, and this ridge line here. There might be one or two in this area. So somewhere. So they're basically surrounding you.
Can I do an insight check to see if they are like setting up an ambush and getting ready to attack us? Or are they just watching?
You can, but at disadvantage.
Okay.
Just because they're extremely hard to see, so it's hard to... It's more like you're predicting their behavior than you are like reading their face and their body motions.
Okay, a 19 and a 17 plus 3. So that would be 20 at my lowest.
Your best guess is one of two things. Either these are setting up an ambush, or they are setting up for the most opportune moment. One of those two things.
And
So
I
just
use
go ahead.
my psychic whisper.
Sure. What does that do, if you want to read it to me?
As an action, choose up to 2 creatures you can see, then roll a psionic energy die. For a number of hours equal to the number rolled, the chosen creatures can speak telepathically with you, and you can speak with them, as long as you're within 1 mile. You and the creature do not need to speak common language to understand each other.
Oh, very nice.
Ooh, that's so
That is
cool.
pretty cool.
Sweet. All right, who would you like to do this with?
Oh, I guess whatever one is closest to myself.
So you're doing it on one of the wolves.
On one of the wolves.
All right, sure. Sounds good. Yeah, I guess if it doesn't say
You
it
can
has
see
to be a
one.
person, right?
Yeah, it just says a creature don't need to speak a common language to understand each other.
Perfect. Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, I'll say that you rolled high enough that you can at least see one enough to like link with them.
Is Zell's mic buzzing every once in a while for anybody else?
Yes.
Yes, it was.
Give me a
Okay.
second. Let me see if I can't fix that. Sorry.
No, it's
Yeah,
okay.
no.
I just wanted to make sure it wasn't just me.
Probably my physical mic itself, but
First time you use
It's only doing it every once in a while, so.
okay. I'm wondering if
Yeah,
it's
and I won't
So-
have to use the die on, like, I won't use my thing on this one.
Yeah, you can use it once after each long rest.
Yeah. I've
without
never
having to
used it.
use the die.
Now, does it say the creature has to be willing, or
Nope, that's actually what I was looking for to see if it was willing or not. It doesn't say willing. It says chosen creatures can speak telepathic. Now it says can speak. It's not necessarily like mind
that
reading,
they're?
so they
That's
can
right.
choose to.
Mhm.
They can choose to respond.
That's fair.
Essentially.
Yep. All right. So yeah, I'll say that you are linked to at least one wolf. Do you want to? You can choose up to 2 creatures, right? So who else would you like to link to, just for?
Would he have to choose right now, or could he choose a second one later?
It has to be now.
It has to
Yeah,
be
I would
now?
say it's
Okay.
probably at the time of activation. Yeah.
I think Kanari would be the wisest choice.
Kinyani. Perfect.
Kiani.
Yep.
Yes.
No, I will take. That will be fine by me.
All right. So you guys can telepathically speak. You don't have to speak out loud. Kind of send secret messages to one another.
Did
you know.
Did you
Does
roll a
that-
d6?
Further question.
Mhm.
Does that mean Kiani can also speak with the wolf, or Kiani can only speak with Grim?
Grim.
Just
Okay.
with Grim.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I was like, is this like a 3-way situation?
Yeah.
That sounds love. That would sound.
This sounds like
lovely.
a good time. Wait, this is with a wolf now.
Wait, I was just, I didn't mean it like that. Oh my god. You guys know what I meant. You know what I
Yep.
meant.
You turned this in an 18 plus like within one word. Wow.
Oh my god. You guys know what I meant. Come
3-way
on.
I knew what you
Calling.
meant. The Triforce.
Calling.
The
3-way
Triforce.
calling.
The
Okay.
comedy. The comedy has to come through.
So good. So good. So yes, in any case, you have every capacity to speak with the wolf, as well as Kinyani, and they to you, should they so choose.
I got a 4 on my roll.
So that's 4 hours.
Okay. Yep, sounds good.
And I'm just gonna ask what it's doing. What are they up to?
Don't forget to click the long rest button next to it as well.
Oh, do I have to click that? Okay.
Yeah, just show
Thank
that you
you.
kind of used it. Yeah. It doesn't seem to speak with you. You hear kind of a low growl in the woods, but yeah, it doesn't seem to respond, from what you can tell. Here and there, eventually you hear out in the woods from time to time. You're not. It doesn't seem like you're immediately attacked. They clearly are sort of. You hear a breaking of branch or a wolf howl from time to time. Sometimes they're much closer than you wish, but so far as you can tell, they don't seem to be instantaneously hostile. They just seem to be harrying you and flitting from tree to tree, and yeah.
I think we can carry on, just because
Carefully.
they're not engaging us, and we need to continue with the path, and we will see what they do.
I think we should surround Ireena.
I agree.
Yeah.
Let's not make ourselves small. Don't spread out. Let's stay as a group.
Yeah.
I'll say it's Grimbold in particular who eventually notices that it's Ireena that looks genuinely scared for the first time. Before, she was sort of, resigned to this journey and everything like that. But now she really does look quite worried and fearful with so many wolves around her. Yeah.
Don't be scared. We're professionals. Pull out your blade.
She instantly pulls out her blade for sure. Yeah, that's. She's like, that's a good plan. Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna ready my lance.
Sounds good. So yeah, so basically this is what this is essentially for mostly Grimbold, but Ireena, sensing the tension in the air and the predatory presence of the wolves, clutches her weapon tightly and whispers in a tremulous voice to those nearest to her. We're being watched, and not by ordinary beasts. Keep your guard up, my friends. They're waiting for the right moment. I can feel it. The atmosphere grows increasingly tense as you realize that these wolves are not ordinary creatures, but something more sinister. So yeah.
Let's see. I'm going to use my action and invoke enrage.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna use my action and do rage just in case.
All
Keep in
right.
mind that to keep your rage going, you need to deal damage. Is that how it works?
Yep.
Every
That's
turn?
correct.
Otherwise it ends prematurely.
Well, I feel like I'm gonna go ahead and just risk it, just in
Okay.
case,
That's
and
fine.
then I feel like
Sure.
we will be attacked, but we'll see.
Sure. Fair enough. Were you wanting to do that in sort of like an intimidation kind of way, or?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely, they haven't engaged us yet,
Sure.
but I feel like they probably will, or they're going to. So I will, as soon as they come out of the shadows, then I will probably roll for intimidation if they do.
All right. Yeah, what I would say is, like, you can prepare your action is probably the best way to do it, like to rage if they sort of start to attack kind of thing. And then if you wanted to, you can kind of yell out to them or try to intimidate them in the meantime. Does that sound like it maybe would work?
No, I'll just do the rage for now. Just keep it
Okay.
On level playing ground because they haven't engaged with us yet. So
Sure.
yeah.
Okay. No problem. What does that look like for you? How do you imagine Kenyatta doing that? Describe it
Raging?
for us. Yeah.
Raging?
Yeah.
Yeah. So after I've invoked rage and start to kind of get a little body start shaking and kind of tensing up, and just basically a just kind of a energy that builds up in my body and will induce rage, and
Perfect.
I will be just tense.
Nice.
For our travel. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Yeah, so you see a flicker of amber light come into Kinyani's eyes. His muscles cord and he grips his warhammer, sort of looking around threateningly. Yeah, it doesn't seem like after a few moments that any of the wolves have jumped out to attack you or anything like that. But you do keep kind of noticing them here and there as you're kind of along the path. Are you guys sort of staying here, or are you guys gonna kind of keep circling Ireena and kind of move along, or?
Yeah, let's keep moving.
Let's moving.
Okay. No, fair enough. Yeah, it's good. All right. Let's see here. Yeah, eventually that'll end, so it's no trouble. I'll leave you guys there for now, just for argument's sake, just because you're kind of essentially center of the map. But I don't have the whole road mapped out for us. This is just indicative of what you'll see.
Got it.
So about another hour or so comes, and Zoltan sort of pipes up and says we should be nearing the crossroads fairly soon. But yeah, as you continue your journey along the desolate Old Svalich road, the overcast sky casts an eerie pall over the land. Suddenly, from the western horizon, a haunting sight emerges. A skeletal rider, mounted upon a gaunt and skeletal steed, as it becomes visible through the swirling fog and mist. The skeletal rider's form is draped in tattered, time-worn rags that flutter ominously in the wind, revealing bone-thin limbs that have endured the relentless passage of centuries. His hollow sockets, once eyes, gaze sightlessly ahead with an eternal emptiness, and his fleshless fingers grips the reins with his unnatural and unyielding strength. The skeletal steed, equally decrepit and ghastly, moves with a ghostly silence, its hooves barely making a sound as it carries its macabre rider forward. Wisps of pale mist seem to emanate from its bony frame, creating an otherworldly aura that clings to the nightmarish pair. As the skeletal rider draws closer, you realize you've seen him before. He was across the chasm when you laid the Durst family to rest. His presence chills the air, and though a sensation of dread washes over you, he seems to pay your party no heed. What would you like to do? He's about 60-ish feet in front of you. Let me just give you a second here. I've got to find him. Oops, sorry. Is him? Nope. This is him. Right about there. No, yeah, I'm pretty good. I accidentally put it exactly 60 feet away.
That's as far as we can see.
Yeah. What would you like to do, if anything?
Because I'd like to break bones. He's not paying any attention to us.
My thoughts exactly.
Get off the road. The riders.
Okay, Frodo. So yeah, he eventually, he's not moving fast. He's kind of clopping along, but shockingly silent for a relatively armored creature. Gets about here. Do you guys do anything?
We should move out of the way. Maybe.
Yeah, I'm gonna move closer to Ireena.
Keep our guard up.
Kind of shoulder to shoulder with her almost.
Yeah, with a slow, haunting cadence, the skeletal rider and his steed pass by, vanishing into the ever-present fog, leaving you with a lingering sense of unease and a haunting image etched in your memories forever. Yeah, he just passes by. He did seem very real and decayed and everything like that, but doesn't seem to even recognize you anymore.
Well, that was a lot less anticlimactic than I expected it to be.
It depends on what you guys wanted to do with it, if you wanted to engage it or not.
Don't know what to think of that. That one could have hurt. Don't know.
All right, no worries. So I'm just going to switch maps for a second. Eventually, you guys recognize that the wolves are almost ever present. You're never really, able to kind of keep them in your sight for very long. They're always kind of running along or behind you or to each side kind of thing, just outside of your vision for the most part. But you're still aware that, the odd crack of a twig or wisp in the leaves and stuff like that, you still feel pretty much harried the entire time you're walking down this path, if not immediately threatened. Eventually, you come to a new area that opens up.
Graves.
Eventually, the clearing that before you comes open as the path begins to divide to the north and to the south. An old wooden gallows creaks in a chill wind that blows down from the high ground to the west. A frayed length of rope dances from its beam. The well-worn road splits here, and a signpost opposite the gallows points off in three directions: Barovia Village to the east, Tesser Pool to the northwest, and Ravenloft/Vallaki to the southwest. The northwest fork slants down and disappears into the trees, while the southwest fork clings to an upward slope. Across from the gallows, a low wall crumbling in place partially encloses a small plot of graves shrouded in fog. what would you guys like to do?
I say we keep going.
What was
Back to
the
Barovia. I'm just kidding.
Fuck this shit, I'm out.
what did the two spots say on the signpost?
So this is going to the Tesser Pool, which Ismark basically, said that that's usually where you can find the Vistani sort of camped in this area. He doesn't know if they're there currently, but if that's where you're essentially looking for Madame Eva or anybody else in that party or of that Vistani tradition, that's where you'd likely find them in this area for now. And this is the south to Castle Ravenloft and or Vallaki, which is sort of the long. This is the usual road.
The
It's
extra
clearly
day.
yeah. So this is the usual road, which is much more like well maintained. This is barely a path at this point. It's overgrown. It's a lot more enclosed in terms of the forest and everything like that. So it's up to you guys what you'd like to do.
Yes, north was the way that we agreed earlier. I mean, the other way is safer for Ireena, but I am confident that we can keep her safe even in these darker woods.
I agree.
Yep, let's head ahead. Let's head the.
Sounds good. All right. As you start moving out of the area, you notice two things. First thing you notice is that Ireena looks spent, like she looks exhausted. She looks stoic and resigned, from what you can tell, to just keep going. But it's clear that she's not an adventurer like you guys. She's not used to this pace, and she's not used to. She's also been just through a trying day, but she doesn't seem to say anything. Grimbald, you also notice Zoltan's face. He looks freaked the frig out and appears to be staring at the gallows. He doesn't say anything, but he's just staring where the rope is kind of hanging.
Okay. Zoltan, are you okay?
When you say his name, he jumps and looks at you and then looks back quickly to the gallows. And he grasps his neck for a second and just says, fine. Yes, I'm fine. Thanks. And he'll start kind of walking away. You can give me an insight check if you'd like.
Okay.
Actually, roll twice.
14 and 11.
All right. Yeah, you saw something. He was kind of freaked out, but a wave of nausea seems to affect you. You're not quite sure what he saw, but yeah, he just seems to have shrugged it off. He looks pretty sickly from what you can tell as well, so maybe just rumblies in the tumblies, not unlike yourself.
Perhaps a long rest could be warranted here. Get you two back in good health and give the young lass a rest.
It's up to you. It is getting to that time where the sun is going down. This place seems dour, but for the most part, so far you haven't seen anything else that is any better to camp. So it's up to you guys if you want to keep going for it. Zoltan basically, yeah, Zoltan says we're probably about 4 or 5 more hours to the Tesser pool, and if we can get our answers sooner rather than later, that would be best, but I am weary, I have to admit.
4 or 5 hours probably would lead us into darkness.
Oh yeah, definitely.
nighttime. So I'd say we can maybe travel for another hour and then set up camp. Get away from these gallows and graveyard.
I think that's probably best.
What? Come on! It's just a graveyard. The gallows. It's just misty. It's fine. You can rest here. What are you talking about?
Given the zombies we've dealt with and
Mhm.
everything else, I'm not sure resting near a graveyard is our smartest decision that we could possibly make.
The gallows keeps us up off the ground, though. We can totally rest on the wood.
That's
We'll be fine. We have tent bedrolls.
Sounds good.
sounds good to me. Let's sleep on the gallows.
Sean has a death wish, I swear.
Yeah. Zoltan is definitely not listening
Looking
to
forward to that.
Grimbold and just basically keeps walking, going north along the path. He seems pretty intent in getting the hell out of here, it seems. All right. So it's not too much longer then before you eventually, you find that dusk is quickly approaching. You eventually find a fairly decent spot to break for camp if you guys do decide to do so before darkness completely falls. And show you what that would look like. Assuming you guys will eventually camp.
Mhm.
Because sleep is for the weak.
So you find a spot where there are several layers. There's several levels to the north, essentially. That it would take quite a bit of effort for anything to come up from that area. So it's actually pretty defensible in terms of you only have like the road and this sort of semicircle to really worry about for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
And so it just seems like a decent place to set up shop. And yeah. At this point, Ireena is a little bit more willing to converse, and she seems very welcome for a warm fire and just a chance to rest. It does take a bit of extra effort to get a fire going. Kinyani, do you want to roll survival to see if you can, how long it takes you to actually get a fire going with all the wet wood?
We have someone that can produce fire.
Yeah,
That's true too.
I can produce fire pretty easily, but
Well, I rolled a 10, so I don't know if that gets us a fire, but
It's more about finding. It's not necessarily starting the fire. It's more about finding anything that will burn because
Okay,
it's been soaked through, kind of thing. So,
Ki, how long does it take you to find us some good wood? That good wood. You know what I mean?
like good wood for the three-way. Yeah, sounds good.
That good wood. You know.
Oh dear. I will not allow this campaign to devolve into sexual innuendo at all. Nope.
Animals, all of us. My little ears can't stand it.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. So, sorry. Give me 2 seconds here.
1, 2.
Yeah. So Ginyani can gather a decent amount of wood. It takes a while. It does sputter and doesn't give as much warmth as you would really like, particularly as much as Ireena looks like she would like. But all things considered, she seems pleasant and stoic throughout all of this. So yeah. Eventually, she will. Ask Kinyani as you're kind of trying to help the fire, and Jax as well kind of keeps on bursting flames on the damn thing to try and keep it hot and drying out the other stuff. And she'll finally ask you, I'm sorry to be rude, but can you tell me about your people? I've never seen an elf before. I don't think that they. I think they used to exist in Borovia a long time ago, but for centuries now we've never seen an elf. At least I have not.
So yeah, um, uh,
You
yeah,
a little nervous there, Ki? A
uh,
little nervous there? A little shy?
my food's here, so
Oh, okay, no worries.
I'm gonna BRB, but hold
Yep.
that thought.
No, it's fine.
Pretty girl got
She,
you a little
Exactly.
distracted,
she'll
or
probably ask something similar to each of you, kind of start asking more about your origins in any case, and she'll she'll ask Grimbold in one sense. She'll go, I noticed that you were doing something strange earlier. Um, there's something about you. Were you trying to communicate, or just see the world in a different way? I never understood. Something to do with the wolves.
Just this little thing that I learned to pick up in my thievery days.
She chuckles and says, what might that be? That you can uh, were you trying to frighten the wolves?" She kind of jokingly says.
Of course, I was trying to frighten them, but look at me, I'm a hobbit.
Yes, and just like your friend, I have never seen one of I assume you're all grown up for your people. You certainly don't act like a child, though I admit that is what I thought you were at first.
well,
Bro,
sometimes he acts like a child.
yes, very much so. I'm young at heart.
Aren't we all, I suppose? I think in another life I would have been more than joyful to have children, but perhaps not not one that would be as naughty as you. And she kind of shakes her finger, kind of jokingly.
Hey,
And then she'll kind of ask Jax, is like, your flames, they are always on. I've never met one of your kind as well. I thought at first you would have been human, but that is not the case, is it?
No, I'm from Candlekeep, and my flames were not always on. But on the way here, there was some kind of accident, and I don't know what happened, but here we are. Try to hide them as best I can around most people, but I guess it is what it is at this point. So.
She smiles and she tentatively reaches out her hand and kind of pats you on the arm where some of your flames kind of lick, partly just out of it seems out of curiosity, but also out of what seems like a sincere desire to comfort you and say. She says, "Well, it seems that we're all friends here now, so perhaps you don't need to hide them so much. And who knows? Maybe the wolves will not want to be so near them as well."
I think that might be a good assumption.
She gives a kind of a kindly smile. Eventually, she'll turn to Lunaris and say, "I appreciate what you are willing to do um, for me and my brother, and how you all, of course, helped to attend my father's funeral. Do you uh, worship the Morning Lord as well?"
Not quite. In fact, my faith is that with which is known as Helm, the god of protection and
She looks.
And,
Go ahead. Yeah.
go ahead. No, you go ahead.
She looks kind of like confused, but not like doubting by any means. And she just simply says, "I've never heard of this helm, although it seems he must be a goodly god."
Give me 1 sec. I'm gonna pull up a little bit of information so I can talk about Helm.
Sure,
But
that's
my
good.
D&D
Telling me you
Beyond
don't have it
is not working.
memorized, Lunar? Come on.
Exactly.
I expect you to fully memorize every bit of information about your character's religion and backstory prior to these sessions. I am fully disappointed. No, I'm just kidding.
Right? You gotta be this. You're gonna be like showing this apostasy in character. Jeez.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I realize that D&D Beyond is not a very good source to look up specific things like this.
It can be a little bit, yeah.
Is it not?
It's just clunky in terms of its searchability, I find.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
And that would be
unfortunate.
on virtually anything. If you know where to look, like I do, it's not so bad. But yeah, even like searching up a regular monster, just through the search bar, it gives you a bunch of random stuff sometimes. It's like, well, that wasn't helpful at all. So
That's not what I was looking for.
Okay.
Helm is the Faerunium god of guardians and protectors, also known as the Vigilant One. Watcher. I think he's also known as the Watcher. Yes. So the Watcher is the epitome of a vigilant guardian and embodiment of the spirit of watchfulness. As long as you are with me, you are safe, as I am your protector and defender. Chosen to bring light to this cursed land.
it is fantastic. I would love to hear more about your homelands, where you guys come from, particularly you. How do you say your name again? Is it Kinya Ani?
It's Kiani, and it's a tribe from the Towering House clan, and I come from Schultz region, if you know where that's at.
Afraid I don't. Is it a big city?
No, no city. Just in the forest, deep, and we have not seen anybody else besides our own people, so it is very remote.
Sounds frightening and dangerous, but it seems like they raise very strong warriors from what I can tell of yourself.
Yeah, they do.
Cool. So that's kind of what the next few hours essentially is with her. She just mostly just wants to get to know you guys and, gain kind of an insight on what your guys' character is like and your past and everything like that. And, eventually she will share a little bit about herself as well, if prompted to. She's always lived in Barovia. Her father and her brother were always quite protective of her, but she always felt free to participate in the affairs of the village. She learned quite a bit to not just defend herself, although she doesn't really like hurting people and using the weapon offensively. Her brother in particular has pushed her over the past years to defend herself with her weapon. So she considers herself, at least somewhat skilled with a blade and keeping herself safe. But she's more interested in just helping others. And so she kind of explains that if you guys ever need help, she'll do her best to do so. And when it comes to off the battlefield, she's actually spent a lot of time with Father Donovich, not just in religious matters, but learning to understand herbs and even medicine so that she can help speed your recovery along. So, yeah. But yeah. Your main impression of her is that she seems like a very well-meaning, kindly person. Yeah, that just has gone through a lot of stuff lately.
I have a question for you, Ireena.
Yes, what is it?
How do you feel about leaving your family behind and joining us?
She takes a deep breath and she doesn't really answer for like right away, but eventually she'll say, if you told me a year ago whether or not I would leave the comforts of home, I think I would have been excited. I always found it stifling to be there, and I always wanted to. I don't know. I've always felt like I was meant for something else than the small village. But I would not have wanted to leave in the way we just did. I will miss my brother. To some end, I feel that his not wanting to come with me was a betrayal, but I understand his heart is of duty, and he is trying to do what he thinks is right. And I think in his mind he is not strong enough to protect me and would only get in the way. And so I understand, but it does not hurt any less. She kind of gives a sad smile to you, but shrugs.
Well, I can say that hanging around us, you will probably gain lots of skills, and you'll be able to probably head back home and visit and take on with whatever is there, and you can show up your brother.
Can I roll insight just to see if I'm trusting all that she's saying to us and everything as well?
Sure.
$17.
Yeah, she seems fairly sincere.
Okay.
She's probably not sharing all of her most honest thoughts. There's a significant amount of confusion and concern, and you're kind of picking up one thing in particular that just you feel like she's hiding something.
Okay.
It's not like necessarily nefarious, but there's a true worry or concern that doesn't necessarily fit with what her answer was. But
Around what?
you really have no idea what it could be around. You kind of notice it when she talks about, like she felt like she was meant for something else. Whether or not she knows what that is, or whether that is something that excites her or concerns her, you're not quite sure. But it's got something to do with that. You just can't put your finger on it. But yeah. Cool. Well, eventually she will want to bed down. She grabs her bedroll and thanks you all for your service and your kindness to at least help her calm down a little bit in such a alien or hostile environment, and by asking questions and stuff. But eventually it just looks like she just can't keep her eyes open anymore and needs to get her rest, and she'll eventually hit the hay.
Just watch.
Yeah, she doesn't seem to know or understand what watch is, so she just basically passes out.
No, she doesn't have to. She's new here.
Yeah. It's probably your guys' part of your job description. You guys take watch. I'm asleep.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'll take first watch.
All right.
All right. I'll
Are you
sleep.
going to stay up for like the first 4 hours type of thing? Because you,
Yeah,
it
that
takes
probably
about,
works.
yeah, fair enough. Get you guys that rest. Okay. Eventually, about 2 or 3 hours into your uh, your shift, and everybody else is essentially asleep, um, the sounds of the night become much more quiet.
Mm.
You don't feel, and you haven't seen wolves in quite some time. Uh, Basically, not too long after the crossroads, they don't appear to be at least as immediate as they were. Um, the forest is still quite creepy and everything, but there's an actual silence. The only thing sort of kicking up is sort of a wind that swirls some of the mist along the trees, and the darkness is definitely difficult to see through, even though you have your elven eyes and can see further than most. It is a starless, well, it's always been a starless night, but it is a deeply overcast and dark night with no moon in sight. Yeah, which is less than comforting. Eventually, what you notice is a peculiar movement from within your camp as Jax of Candlekeep seems to be standing and staring out in this direction.
I'm
But
guessing I'm still asleep though. Yeah.
you are still asleep, yes.
Cool. Okay.
The other thing that you notice, Kinyani, is that Zoltan and Grimbold seem to be suffering quite a bit of discomfort. Um, Grimbold, you are having an incredible nightmare. Um, you are being pursued by uh, a group of paladins and clerics that consider you a heathen for your psychic abilities. You also realize that they are associates of the one who was supposed to be helping you, and they've raised an entire town back in was it Waterdeep, or I can't remember. Oh, Kalimshan, sorry, Kalimshan. Back in Kalimshan, and so you have like half the town or half the city after you. You're forced to duck, crawl through sewers, duck through crowds, do everything you can to keep one step ahead of um, this violent mob that's after you. And you just get no rest whatsoever as you're running along. Zoltan also looks like he's having a particularly horrendous nightmare. He looks like at one point it looks like he's even choking. He keeps grasping at his collar of his clothing, of his nightly clothing, and keeps looking like he's trying to get something off of his neck. It doesn't look like he's being harmed, or either of them are. But yeah, they just don't seem to be resting very well. Jax, on the other hand, you don't dream, and but you're still asleep. And the visage of Jax of Candlekeep seems to not quite notice Kinyani behind, and she kind of walks up to the cliff's edge over here, thereabouts, and just kind of stares off into this direction for a while. What would you like to do, if anything?
I'm awake now.
Sorry, just Adam's awake right now. Kenya.
I would like to observe Jax.
Okay.
You gonna let me jump off a cliff?
I'm going to just watch.
We're over here going Silent Hill,
Yeah.
Silent Hill. You just gonna let me jump off?
Because I believe if you wake somebody up from their existence, or that it could disturb something, so I will observe. But I'll be quick enough to grab Jax if I do feel that they are going to fall down the cliff. So
All right.
I will observe.
Sounds good. Jax will basically speak to you and say, "This place is full of secrets. Some of them nearer than we might think. Don't you agree? Don't you agree?" And she turns to you. Give me a perception check, please.
Okay. Perception. Oh, a 4.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it seems like Jax. It's a little odd that she'd be awake and everything like that, but so far as you can tell, it sounds like Jax. It looks like Jax. Yeah. She kind of, she's not smiling or anything like that. She's just kind of looking, you know, she looks at you and then looks kind of plainly out past the horizon, basically past these rocks over here.
What do you see?
I'm not sure if I see anything. I just feel like, and just as she was going to finish that sentence, you hear an enormous screech from the forest, and something above the tree line darts in around you, or in front of you. A massive, horrendous creature, which we'll take a break before we show you what that looks like.
All right.
But yeah. Because I really need